The human reproductive system. Human reproduction is any form of sexual reproduction resulting in human fertilization. It typically involves sexual intercourse between a man and a woman. This organ system allows species to reproduce by combining genetic materials from a biological mother's egg and a biological father's sperm to make an offspring. This process is strongly influenced by sex hormones, which are estrogen for female and testosterone for male. This is triggered by the pituitary gland, which in response created the menstrual cycle, egg and sperm cell production. These hormones are created in a process called meiosis. While normal cells contain 46 chromosomes and 23 pairs, gamete cells only contain 23 chromosomes. And it is when two cells merge in one zygote, the genetic recombination occurs in the new zygote containing 23 chromosomes from each parent paired up, giving them 23 pairs. Before discussing the whole process, let us discuss first the organs involved in both female and male reproductive systems.
The male reproductive system. It consists of a number of sex organs that play a role in the process of human reproduction. The main function of the male reproductive system is to create, prepare, maintain and transport sperm to the female reproductive tract. This includes the penis, scrotum, testes, epididymis, vas deferens, prostate, seminal vesicles, and certain parts of the brain.
Penis. This contains a three cylindrical spaces, blood-filled sinuses. When filled with blood, the penis becomes larger and erect. When the erect penis is stimulated, muscles around the reproductive organs contract and force the semen through the duct system and urethra. Semen is pushed out of the male's body to this urethra. This process is called ejaculation. Scrotum. Scrotum is a thick skin sac that surrounds and protects the testes. It is also used to regulate the temperature of the testes. It relaxes to let the testes hang farther from the body to cool, or it contracts to get the testes near to the body for warmth and protection.
Testes. These are responsible for the creation of sperm and testosterone. These contain seminiferous tubules which are responsible for the production of sperm cells through spermatogenesis. Spermatogenesis is the origin and development of the sperm cells within the male reproductive organs, the testes. Sperm cells are produced within the testes in structure called seminiferous tubules, hypothalamus and pituitary gland. This controls how much testosterone and testes produce and secrete. The hypothalamus sends a signal to the pituitary gland to release gonadotrophic substance or follicle-stimulating hormone and luteinizing hormone to the blood, which spurs the specific parts of testes or the Leydig cell to release testosterone. Leydig cells, also known as interstitial cells of Leydig, are found adjacent to the seminiferous tubules in the testicle. They produce testosterone in the presence of luteinizing hormone or LH. The best established function of Leydig cells is to produce the androgen testosterone under the pulsatile control of pituitary luteinizing hormone.
The epididymis collects sperm from the testes and provides the environment for sperm to mature and acquire the ability to move through the female reproductive system and fertilize an ovum. The vas deferens then transport mature sperm from the epididymis to the urethra, the tube that carries urine or sperm to outside of the body in preparation for an ejaculation.
Urethra serves a dual function in males. This channel is the part of the urinary tract that transports urine from the bladder and the part of the reproductive system through which semen is ejaculated. Prostate gland is used to secrete an alkaline fluid that comprises approximately 70% of the seminal volume. The secretions produce lubrication and nutrition for the sperm. The muscles of the prostate also ensure that the semen is forcefully pressed into the urethra and then expelled outwards during ejaculation. Seminal vesicle secretes the fluid that is vital for semen coagulation, sperm motility, and stability of sperm chromatin and suppression of the immune activity in the female reproductive tract.
The female reproductive system. The female reproductive system is made up of the internal and external sex organs that function in reproduction of new offspring. The organs of the female reproductive system produce and sustain the female sex cells, egg cells or ova, transport these cells to a site where they may be fertilized by a sperm, provide a favorable environment for the developing fetus, move the fetus to the outside at the end of the development period, and produce the female sex hormone.
Hypothalamus signals the pituitary gland to produce two hormones during puberty, the follicle-stimulating hormone and the luteinizing hormone, to stimulate the ovaries to produce the female sex hormones, which is the estrogen and the progesterone. Gradually, a girl's body starts changing into a woman's body. But these surging hormones can also make your mood go up and down, and sometimes it may seem as if your body is out of control. This results in the development of secondary sex characteristics and causes the ovaries to begin producing mature eggs. The ovary is a ductless reproductive gland in which the female reproductive cells are produced. Females have a pair of ovaries held by a membrane beside the uterus on each side of the lower abdomen. The ovary is needed in reproduction since it is responsible for producing the female reproductive cells or the ova. The fallopian tubes or the oviduct functions as a transport of ova. When an egg matures, it is released and passed to the fallopian tube toward the uterus. If the ovum is fertilized by the male reproductive cell or the sperm, conception happens and the uterine tubes transport the fertilized egg to the uterus for implantation. The uterus or the womb is a major female hormone-responsive secondary sex organ of the reproductive system in humans. It is used to nourish and house a fertilized egg until the fetus or the offspring is ready to be delivered.
The cervix facilitates the passage of sperm into the uterine cavity. It also protects the uterine cavity and upper genital tracts by shedding the endometrium. The vagina has three main functions. First, it provides a passageway for blood and mucosal tissue from the uterus during a woman's monthly period. Second, it receives the penis during sexual intercourse and holds the sperm until they pass into the uterus. And lastly, it provides a passageway for childbirth.
Labia majora. The labia majora, also known as the outer lips, enclose and protect the other external reproductive organs. During puberty, hair growth occurs on the skin of the labia majora, which also contains sweat and oil-secreting glands. Labia minora. The labia minora, also known as the inner lips, can have a variety of sizes and shapes. They lie just inside the labia majora and serves as a protective structure for the opening to the vagina and urethra. Bartholin's glands. These glands are located next to the vaginal opening on each side and produce a fluid, the mucus, secretion to lubricate the vagina. Clitoris. It has no function in reproduction, but is the main pleasure center for females during sex. It becomes erect under the signal of the brain.
The main function of the breasts is that it produces and delivers milk to nourish the infant.
Human reproduction naturally takes place as internal fertilization by sexual intercourse. During this process, the male inserts his penis, which needs to be erect, into the female's vagina until the male ejaculates semen, which contains sperm, into the vaginal canal. The sperm and the ovum are known as gametes, each containing half the genetic information of the parent, created through meiosis. The sperm, being one of approximately 250 million sperms in a typical male ejaculation, travels through the vagina and cervix into the uterus, where only 1 out of 14 million of the ejaculated sperm will reach the fallopian tubes. The egg simultaneously moves through the fallopian tube away from the ovary. One of the sperm encounters, penetrates, and fertilizes the ovum in a process called fertilization. Here, the female and male haploid gametes fuse together, resulting in the formation of a diploid zygote. Upon fertilization and implantation, gestation of the fetus then occurs within the female's uterus.
If the egg does not become fertilized, the lining of the uterus is shed towards the vagina during menstruation. Chance of fertilization by menstrual cycle day is relative to ovulation. This is when a mature egg is released from one of the ovaries. Pregnancy rates for sexual intercourse are highest during the menstrual cycle time from some 5 days before until 1 to 2 days after ovulation.
Importance of reproduction. In general terms, reproduction is one of the most relevant concepts in the biology, since it guarantees the continuity of a species. The reproductive system comprises various body organs that help in procreation. Because of the vital role, many people acknowledge the fact that reproductive systems are the most important organs within the entire body.